I don't try to time tops or bottoms. Instead, I focus on finding quality. Because in crypto, it is impossible to catch every move, literally impossible. I know there's people on crypto Twitter always say, I called it but reality is it's extremely difficult. But you can position yourself to be in the right places at the right time. How? Well, buying solid projects when there's a bull market dip. And yes, my friends, we are in a bull market dip. That's what leads to long-term success. Right now, the market is on edge. We don't know if it's full risk on or risk off just yet. But one thing is certain, the past week has been brutal, especially for one ecosystem that's been pummeled with FUD. If you guys are fans of the channel, you probably know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing, what gets hit the hardest usually bounces back the strongest. And if this tells us anything, these are the times when the biggest opportunities emerge. Today, I'm breaking it all down, what's really happening, what I'm watching closely, and whether right now might be the best opportunity to start loading up. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're excited for the show and excited that I'm back, I appreciate you guys very, very much. Do me a favor, destroy a like button. If you're new to the channel, what's up? My name's Kyle, subscribe, and let's get into it, guys. And of course, the price of Bitcoin right now is just trending sideways and it's not very exciting. And one thing that I wanted to pay attention to today as well, because I haven't looked in a while, is the ETF flows. Now, this to me, BlackRock nearly has inflows every single day, but the rest of them aren't really certain. And you can see we've got a pretty good balance of net in and outs, but actually it seems like pretty good balance. Actually, I would say over the past 10 days or so, to where essentially it seems like a zero net flows kind of situation. And same for Ethereum. Look, just zeros across the board, not much action. And so to me, it says that people are sitting back and waiting. I personally don't expect things to skyrocket anytime soon, like I've told you before. But like Danny says over here, stop buying things you want to sell tomorrow and start buying things you never want to sell. I was just on a really good interview with my friend Dan. You guys will see that on his channel soon. We'll bring him on our channel as well. But one of the things I wanted to mention about myself is that I am very much an investor mind first, and then my degen side of me is another part. And I talked to you guys a lot on this channel about the barbell strategy and allocating a large amount of your portfolio, your investable portfolio, into the less risky things, right? The Bitcoin, Ethereum, the blue chips essentially, right? And then a smaller amount to the higher risk, higher reward things. And then of course, I always advocate taking profits into Bitcoin when you do. But also, if you have high conviction, you follow some projects and the devs keep shipping, if it's a really good deal and there's a potential for that thing to do maybe 1,000x along the way, right? And so it's in my opinion, important to try to limit the amount of things that we look at and focus on what we think to be winners in the more long-term, right? And so as you can see, there's one bull that we are not shocked at all. Microstrategy, or just strategy, I should say, proposes another $2 billion convertible note to buy more Bitcoin. And of course, Peter Schiff down here, any investment scheme based on greater fool theory will always need greater fools. The problem is that you eventually run out. And Adam back comes back to say, and the converts are back. Time to increase MSTRE leverage for the bull market. Adam back is, and of course, Commonwealth. And we're back. Good comments under this post. Good comments for sure. So $1.1 trillion asset manager Standard Chartered thinks or predicts that there's going to be more sovereign wealth funds that buy Bitcoin. I think this is obvious. We already know that the Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund is the 7th largest holder in the Bitcoin ETFs, and others are also buying like crazy. And Bitcoin historian says that Google Web3 lead says it's working to improve Bitcoin wallets. Our goal is for users to be able to log into wallets using Google and trade Bitcoin. This is very, very bullish. Obviously, when Google, multi-trillion-dollar company wants to get more access, their users easier access to Bitcoin. Extremely bullish. Now, as we talked about yesterday, we started having the distribution of the smaller redistributions, but the bigger ones are scheduled now for May 30th. So we got a few months still before we get that $7+ billion injection into alts. And I believe that's probably about time when we're going to start to see some crazy movement. Now, like I said before, I think that the market is just kind of waiting right now, because what we've seen is higher inflation. We see that DOGE needs to, it's finding tons and tons of areas of the government to cut down, as they call it, waste, fraud, and abuse. But that's going to take time. And that's the plan of how they plan to reduce inflation is through DOGE essentially. And so if inflation is increasing, it's really hard for the Fed to cut rates. But we know that, that the Trump administration wants to cut rates. And we know that global liquidity is increasing. So all the right macro conditions are shaping up for still having a very bullish bull run ahead of us. But my personal opinion from what I'm seeing and just kind of what I feel is it's probably going to take a little bit more time than expected. So this is kind of funny. So FTX payments started today. Payments are in USD at 2022 rock bottom prices, essentially. So if you had one BTC, you'll be receiving $18,000. If you had one SOL, you'll be receiving $15. And if you had one ETH, you'll be getting $2,500. If you had Ethereum, you were the winner in this one since ETH hasn't appreciated much here. Luckily for me, I just had stablecoin, so my stablecoin will be getting 1-to-1, I guess, on that. And as you guys know, LBank is a sponsor of the channel. 23 days left to get this big sign-up bonus. Link in the description below. You can get $500 on a trading bonus if you deposit $1,000. If you feel like doing KYC, you get $20 just for doing KYC. Use the link below. And guys, Nord, I'm telling you about Nord. Link is in the description below. I have it activated right now. And my use case today of why I needed it was because I am not in America at the moment, but I do have the OpenAI Pro plan. And so I wanted to test out Operator, the AI operating system, and it was not available in my country. And so easily I just switched my VPN to say that I was in the United States, and bam, it became available. So again, guys, this is super, super cheap. I got 2 years and then you get 4 extra months. Really sweet deal if you guys use the link in the description below. Plus, as threat protection, you should really be using it if you're in crypto. So this is a really good quote from Ray Dalio. I like it a lot. If you're not aggressive, you're not going to make money. And if you're not defensive, you're not going to keep money. All right? And so that's one thing that we're going to be focusing on here too, is the profit-taking strategy as we get a little bit closer into it. My guess is that we're still early into this bull run. And so we're watching things like Pi Cycle Top and things like that to kind of see when we believe there might be the end of the bull run. But for me, I think it's still early, but we do want to pay attention on when we should kind of be rotating capital into either things like Bitcoin or stablecoin, for example. Now, what I'm going to be talking about in the intro here is Solana. So Solana is at like all-time low for sentiment. Very, very low sentiment on Solana. And so maybe it's time that we start looking at it. It is currently sitting at 41% below all-time high a month ago. And so you have a pretty good discount on arguably the biggest and loudest and most fanatical community. I mean, arguably Cardano and XRP and maybe Link or something have also crazy communities, but Solana is by far one of the strongest communities, and it's just FUD storm after FUD storm right now, and usually a good time to buy something. So Lunar Crush says Solana is on track to hit the lowest sentiment and social engagement and price in 2025, the entire year so far. Remember, be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are greedy is a good motto to live by. So how oversold is Sol on the daily? There's been only 3 times in the last 3 years at this daily RSI or lower when the FTX collapse happened in 2022, at the very, very pico bottom when it was $8 shortly after that. And then on June 10th, 2023, I don't really know what happened on that date, but anyway, I guess that was here. So, if you're into technical analysis, then here's your TA. And what is oversold can go lower, but Sol is now in a good risk reward area. Price is down nearly 50% from all-time high. Now, that's interesting because we're going to go into one of the particular projects I don't have an exposure to, by the way, but I'm looking into it because you guys know I like Aave a lot. And so we're going to look at like a comparison on Solana to Aave and look at the potential for that one. But as you can see on TVL, Solana is still ranked number 2 behind Ethereum. Ethereum obviously dominating by far. And then Solana 7.6%. So as Ivan on Tech says over here, it says, ignore Sol meme FUD. Memes have proven that Solana can handle NASDAQ level load on the chain. If you want clean, no scam environment, you don't understand the word permissionless, right? Like, yes, scammers can use Solana, but so could other really quality projects. I mean, I know a ton of quality projects being built on Solana. Go to your local Bake branch, and if you want no scam, and beg them to accept your KYC. If you want freedom, permissionless finance, stop crying. I love Ivan, really good guy. Now, this is a good thread about the unlocks that everyone's talking about, that I talked about at the end of whatever it was, May. at $2 billion. Again, I already told you that I didn't think it was a big deal. This thread just goes into saying that a lot of those unlocks from the Solana estate have already been sold. And even though it would unlock in the estate on May 30th or whatever, $2 billion, that has all been resold to other buyers and they have like 4-year unlock schedules. But it's still not really a huge deal. And then if you want some more perspective on the Solana unlocks, Ivan on Tech says, Solana unlocks coming. I have some real dumb takes on this. I've seen some real dumb takes on this. Solana will unlock 2.3% of total supply soon. Crypto Twitter is losing its mind. End of Solana vibes. Here's the dumb part. Sui unlocks 2.6% in a week. Crickets. ENA unlocks 3% in a week. Starkware unlocks 2.5% in 3 weeks. And Aptos unlocks 2% in 2 weeks. And many other big cap examples. So guys, it's really not a big deal about this. Now, this is something I've seen going around, and I want to give you guys a little bit of perspective here. The odds of a Solana ETF being approved in 2025, Polymarkets has it at 83% right now. But something that you should be very, very mindful of is that there's only $81,000 of volume. So I've seen people promoting this, and I wanted to bring it to your attention that it's not a good strong indicator. Was Polymarkets a really good indicator for the Trump election? Yes. But there was like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in volume betting on that outcome. Here it's $80,000. Like Solana Foundation could have put that in there themselves and then just use this for marketing like it works. So I wouldn't hold much weight to this of Solana being approved, but it doesn't matter. I still think that Solana is going to crush. It's one of the cheaper, faster, and more proven. Is it proven itself enough to have trillions of dollars of value on it? No. But is it proven more than any other kind of cheap and fast chain? Yes. Right. So you have things like Sonic taking off right now. We don't really know how secure and safe that's going to be. So that has to stand trials and tribulations. All right. So this is a really good perspective here too from Dexu. So it says Solana tokens are having a hard time, but how are different sectors and projects doing? In the last 90 days, where we've been the most bullish, AI agents and stuff down 80%, unfortunately. Solana meme coins also down 75%, horrible. But Solana DeFi projects about down 10%. So we're going to look today at Camino because I love Aave and I love this idea. And now you have it in the mainstream media too, with Coinbase allowing people to put up Bitcoin as collateral. You've got Cantor Fitzgerald up there saying that they're going to, that they're running their Bitcoin lending thing. And so what about Solana? People are super bullish on Solana. People love Solana. And if you have Sol, why don't you want to be able to do the same thing where you can put up your Sol as collateral, borrow against it, and then buy more Sol or use the money for a loan to buy a house or whatever it is. So Camino is even more than just what Aave does. Okay, so the protocol's one-click auto-compounding concentrated liquidity strategies quickly became the most popular liquidity-providing product on Solana and laid the foundation for what is Camino now. Today, Camino is a first-of-kind DeFi protocol that unifies lending, liquidity, and leverage into a single secure DeFi product suite. On Camino, users can borrow and lend their assets, provide leverage liquidity to concentrated liquidity dexes. This is like advanced DeFi stuff that AI hopefully will help us non-DeFi heads understand how to do better. Build their own automated liquidity strategies. Again, something that AI is tackling. I found this is really interesting too. Use concentrated liquidity positions as collateral. So if I'm adding liquidity to like Pyth, USDC pair on Solana, I can actually, and let's say I put $500,000 liquidity in there, I could actually borrow against that the same way I could borrow against Solana, for example, or Bitcoin, which is really, really cool and something that Aave doesn't currently offer. So this is what Camino platform looks like. So it's like Aave, and then quite a bit more. And you can see that if you wanted to supply Solana right now, if you just got a bunch of Solana and you need to supply it for the markets, because this is a money market, you can get 10% annually on your Solana. So, if you have $100,000 worth of Solana and you put it in here, then you're making $10,000 a year doing nothing other than supplying Solana on Camino. Or you can borrow. So I can effectively supply Solana and borrow. And I believe my net APY would be 0 because the supply APY matches the borrow APY. So if I supplied $100,000 and borrowed $50,000, then my net APY would probably be about 5% positive. Plus I can then, buy more Sol, recollateralize it, et cetera, et cetera. But you've got different markets down here and you can see some main markets. You've got like liquid staking markets, altcoin markets. Now you can even do some meme coins like WIF or something, but you have to be very careful because liquidation ratio, as you can see on more foundational solid projects with less volatility, you can see that liquidity ratio, the LTV is like 75%. That's the ratio in which you would get liquidated if your loan gets great almost as your collateral. Then it needs to start selling off collateral to repay your loan. So it's interesting, really interesting and cool that they do offer some of the memes like WIF and stuff like that, but it's 40%. So you have to be very, very careful on that one, for example. And just another use case. So just see over here says the best place to buy Trump is Camino Swap, 0 fees, 0 slippage, and 0 MEV, which is like when the bots and stuff sandwich attack you on Ethereum and make you pay more than you actually wanted to. So this guy says that he place your order at your desired price or use market to buy instantly, then set a limit order. It will show your potential profit. I use it daily to save a bunch of money. So another use case for Camino. Now, there are some things to be aware of, like unlocks happening in, I think it's like 60 days, something like that. Yeah, 70 days. But it's not huge, right? So you got the key stakeholders and the core contributors. So you got like the team and investors. It's a pretty big percentage of supply, 55%, that starts to unlock in 70 days. But it vests over 2 years. Yes, they will probably be taking profits. But to give you a comparison of where Camino is to, let's say, Aave, you have a $133 million market cap. It's currently sitting down 60% from all-time high, which was just 2 months ago for a good DeFi product, one of the best DeFi products in crypto. And you can see it was on a really good run just as of December, and now it's been on a big correction ever since all this has happened. So it could be a really good buying opportunity compared to Aave, where the market cap is only 133 million over here versus almost 4 billion on Aave. However, Aave is almost all fully diluted, whereas Camino is, what is that? It's just like 20% or something like that. So still has a lot of inflation to come. It's something to be aware of. But when things start running really hard, investors don't really want to sell when the price keeps going up. And so those unlocks tend to happen, be a little bit less intimidating in real altcoin seasons. So I just want to bring your attention to Camino because I don't hold any. I've got no skin or a horse in the game at this time. But you guys know that I do love collateralized lending in crypto. I think it's really allowed me to do a lot. And so I think that, and because I am bullish on Solana, I think it makes a lot of sense to look at this more in depth. And my goal, I guess, on this channel is just to bring your attention to some of the great possibilities to give you a starting place to do your own research, right? Because how you are able to survive these crazy corrections during bull markets is have conviction and understand where we are in the market. Do you believe that we are now in a bear market or a bull market? And if you believe that we're in a bull market, dips are for buying if you can, right? Or rotating capital from things that you're less confident in to things that you have more confident in. So guys, that's gonna wrap it up today. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.